Oil's out. I hope you do. Go grab a bottle of oil. I am breathing in here Northern Lights white spruce. How can I not? This is brand new for Christmas. And if you're wondering what it smells like, what I really think it smells like is more like the needles of a spruce tree than like the kind of the bark or the wood. That's what it so reminds me of. So if you think about the needles of your Christmas tree when it starts to shed its needles, that's what I think it smells like. So what are you guys breathing and diffusing tonight? I asked a question today on Facebook, and some of you engaged in it, but some of you, I just want to give you the results. I asked because I was super curious because I have all these different drinks that I consume during the day. I asked if people preferred to consume their water with a straw cup or like a cup, like drinking out of a cup. And I'm kind of new to the whole straw cup thing, and so I was shocked with the results. What do you guys think? Which team are you on? What do you think won? Hashtag straw or hashtag cup? Tell you the results. The results were tremendously in favor of straws for various reasons. They got like 26 votes, and cups got, where's my cups? Got 20 votes. And then other like sports bottles and stuff got 12. There were some people who made their own category. Those are not rule followers. I never gave that option, but they just created their own category. Anyway, can't tell people how to think on Facebook. So it is what it is. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm really excited to chat with you guys. Here's the deal. We are a body of water, and we are dehydrated, which makes no sense to me. We live in first world countries that have access to clean water, and we are dehydrated. And so I'm excited to share this information because I know that we can make small adjustments and totally change the hydration levels in our bodies. And here's what happens if we're not hydrated. Even a 2% decrease in hydration in our body decreases our cognitive function by 30%, which means that the kids that you're sending off to school that aren't properly hydrated, the way we're going to talk about proper hydration, they're not functioning as well. I mean, 30%, what's 30% difference on a test score? It's significant. My kids are starting to bring home test scores. They're in grade 2 and 3, but I'm like, man, a 30% increase on our spelling test would be tremendous from 1 out of 14, right? Anyways, consider this also that with a 2% decrease in hydration in the brain, your life is less colorful, meaning there's less joy, your vision is impaired, your emotional resiliency is impaired. So hydration is super duper important. And I kind of knew that. You probably knew that too. And so I used to drink a ton of water and I would even brag about it. Anybody here, you don't have to admit this, but you can hashtag bragger if you have bragged about how much water you've consumed. So I used to chug out of here and then I'd be like, I drank like 8 of these a day. Oh, I'm so hydrated. I drank like 9 of these a day. And then I started to like listen to my body because I'm a big advocate for listening to your body. And what I actually felt was like my bladder kind of hurts. Like my belly kind of hurts and I have to go to the bathroom all the time to go pee. And I just didn't feel good. And so I was like, I don't know. People keep saying drink more water, but the more water I drink, the less good I actually feel. Has anybody else felt that way? That's what led me to this book. That very thing. I was like, I am drinking so much water, and everybody says to drink more water, and I don't feel good. So I started to read this book, Quench. You don't have to read it in 20 minutes. I'm going to give you the Coles Notes that has totally changed the way I look at hydration. And the first thing in here that blew my mind was that they studied people in dry countries, and they couldn't figure out why were these people so hydrated. They were living literally on like a liter of water a day or less, which makes sense, right? We've all seen this either in our travels or on TV, you know, people desperate for water. There's water shortages in many places. We're so lucky to have so much water. Why were these people so well hydrated? Now, some of that could be their bodies had adapted, but they actually discovered something super different. Oh, somebody else said they've experienced bladder pain from too much water. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. So what they discovered was something extremely different. Those people had a different view of hydration because they had such a small amount of water. And here's one thing that they did, and I'm going to give you a whole bunch of other tips about what they did that is going to help. You guys notice my shirt waves have changed because I thought waves, water, right? Here's what they did. They consumed some chia. Chia. Vote. Is it chia? That's number 1. Or is it chia? Vote number 2. How should I say this? They ate chia seeds. What they did was they would take not much, like a teaspoon, maybe a tablespoon of chia seeds in the morning with their water. I'm going to show you what this does. They put it in here like this, okay? Now, I do this every morning. I just put it in there like this, and I just slam it like this. Gone. They did that every morning. I do this every morning, and I'll tell you why. They did that in the morning. Then they took another spoonful of seeds, and they tucked it in their shirt and tied it in a little knot. And throughout the day, they nibbled on those seeds, 1 or 2 seeds at a time throughout the day. That's what they did. And they found this dramatically impacted their hydration. Do you want to know why? I put this in here 2 hours ago. The same amount, 1 little spoonful in the same amount of water. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like turned it totally, if you've never played with these, like into a jelly. Okay? Now, as we go, you're going to understand why this is significant. But I wanted to start with this because it was the most fascinating thing that got my attention in the book. So they found that these people were extremely well hydrated. They were doing that and they were doing other things. They were eating a lot of vegetables, fibrous vegetables. So I have a question for you, and I've kind of given you a tip. What do you think is more hydrating to the body? 2 bottles of this water or a bottle of water and an apple? This is what was mind-blowing to me, was that it's way more hydrating to drink a bottle of water and eat an apple than it is to drink 2 bottles of water. So what the heck? Because I've been bragging about chugging water and being hydrated, and I did not know all this other stuff. I'm going to teach you a few things, but I'm going to tell you that I have cut my water consumption that I used to brag about down to like half, and I'm way more hydrated, way fewer trips to the bathroom, and none of that bladder ache that ain't funny, right? Like it doesn't feel good. So here's the scoop. Why are we so dehydrated? First of all, how many of you have had a conversation with a loved one about their health and a conversation about what medicines they're taking? So many of the medicines that we take on the market today, sleeping pills, antihistamines. I mean, antihistamine, think about it, is to dry up our snot and our phlegm, right? It's dehydrating your body. So many of the stuff we take, and I'm not against Western medicine, but it actually says along with the medicine that it causes clinical dehydration. But how many times when you fill those prescriptions does the doctor say, make sure you're compensating for the dehydrating effects of these meds? They're not having this conversation. And so we got to start this conversation within our communities that say, hey, if you're taking that stuff, we should have a conversation about hydration. We should talk about different ways to hydrate your body, because that is totally dehydrating us, okay? Now, the other thing is painkillers are really bad for it. Muscle relaxants. I just want to make sure I cover this. All of your allergy stuff, aspirin, anything you take for headaches, extremely dehydrating. So if you're taking that stuff, make sure you're overcompensating in the hydration department. Okay, so back to this fruit thing. I want you to close your eyes if you want for a minute. I love meditation, so just close your eyes. And some of you are from Canada, so we'll know what this is like. And maybe in other places you can experience this. Imagine you go to like a peach orchard, and you go to this peach orchard and you get like the freshest, most juiciest peach. And you bite into that fresh, beautiful peach. And as your teeth cut through the kind of fuzzy flesh and you get into the juicy bit and you take a bite and you start to chew, what is rolling down your chin? Peach juice. Peach juice is rolling down your chin, right? So that juice that is rolling down your chin is actually extremely different than the water that you drink. And research is just kind of on the tip of this, but what they're finding is that this fluid that is in, I mean, we call it water, right? But that is in our fruits and vegetables is actually different than the water that's in our water bottle. And what it is like a gel water. So we've often thought that the only forms of water are solids, as in ice, liquids, as in water, or solid or gas, as in like steam or what we have come out of our diffuser, right? But what they're actually finding is there's another type of water that occurs in nature, occurs naturally, which is a gelous type of water. They haven't even really named it yet. Some people refer to it as e-water. Some people refer to it as coherent water. And it reacts differently in our body, which means that the biggest thing that we changed from this book, Quench, is we started to consume, in our case, green vegetables, but started to consume early in the morning vegetables or fruit, apple, along with our water to cause deep hydration into our bodies, which was totally different than what I was doing before, which was slamming water. Now, next question. If you're brave enough, hashtag chugger if you're a chugger. And I'll tell you what happens when you chug. Take this bottle and you start chugging. What happens in your body? This is what it does. It goes, cells, flush it out. Flush it out. There's more coming. And it starts flushing it out, which means it's flushing out electrolytes. It's flushing out nutrients. And it says, bladder, kick in. Push this water through that body because more is coming. Here's a graph, and I hope you can make it out. This graph shows the difference between sipping and gulping in urine flow. I hope you can see that. You can generally get the graph. The difference is 6 times. When you start chugging water, your urine, the pace that urine is going to pass through your body is 6 times higher than when you sip it. So ultimately, what is exuberating this problem of dehydration, what you think is helping you going and chugging a bunch of water, is actually causing your body to say, flush the water out. More is coming. And they don't want you to drown. So your body's going, get it out. Get the fluid out. Get it out. She's overloading us. Get it out. And it starts flushing water out your system, causing this bladder pressure, causing your cells to let go of electrolytes and nutrients. And then what happens? You're freaking hungry. You're hungry because you've caused this flush. Now your sugars are low, your salts are low, and you go, I need a donut. I need a $7 drink from Starbucks. And so you go and eat more, and then you gain weight. And that's why supporting hydration will also help balance your weight. It's really amazing, okay? So we started to drink smoothies in the morning. This is in our case, Rob and I. Now, we love a farm breakfast. So on the weekends, we eat all the bacon and eggs and sausage and waffles and pancakes and hash browns literally in one meal. But during the week, Monday to Friday, and we've been doing this since January. Yeah, January when I read the book. Monday to Friday, we drink a green smoothie. And in that green smoothie, in our case, I'm not going to give you any recipes. There's 1,000 online. It's whatever's in the fridge, but mostly it's celery, it's cucumber, it's Ningxia. I want to bring up Ningxia here. If you're not familiar with Ningxia, it's an incredible liquid multivitamin. But what it is it's made out of fruit and vegetables. And so you know how we were talking about that jealous water that reacts differently in our body? That's what this is made out of. So this is deeply hydrating to drink your Ningxia and drink it in the morning. So anyways, in our smoothie, we have a green smoothie. We put our Ningxia. We put a protein powder. And you really want to watch the protein powders on the market. They're not all the same. We put a scoop of protein powder. We put 2 multigreen capsules. We just open them up because they're capsules and Rob doesn't swallow pills. So we just open them up and pour them into our smoothie. And we get this deep hydration early in the morning. Now I also drink water, but that's to kind of create this sponge type of effect in our body that's going to hold the hydration. Okay, remember how I told you I slammed that glass of chia seeds, that 1 spoon? Same thing with the chia seeds. Remember we talked about how this creates this gel? So imagine these sitting in your body all day, releasing hydration, holding on to the moisture that's in your body from the foods you eat. So I really wondered, well, where did this whole drink, I don't know, 64 ounces of water a day idea even come from? And I'll share with you when they first started to make like the food guidelines, which was I think in the US first, and they set out a recommended amount of hydration, which I don't know if it was 8 glasses back then, but they said they actually used the word hydration. They didn't use water or fluids when they actually were trying to cross the message of you need to get this from your food as well. But somehow that message got lost and food got separated from liquids. And it became drink this much in fluids and eat this way, rather than recognizing that the most beneficial hydration that our body can receive is from plants because it has that jealous type of water in it that really speaks to your cells. Okay, so we drink deeply and we eat and drink deeply hydrating foods early in the morning. Then we sip our water through the day. You got it? That's the 2 main points so far. Next thing, Super important. We got a little science demo for us. This is a jug of water. Now, when you put a sponge in water, okay, put a sponge in water, how much water does it absorb? It definitely absorbs some, right? You can see some water in there, okay? Watch what happens when we put it in, and I'm going to squeeze it around in here, move it around, and then pull it out. How much water does it absorb? Way more water, probably twice as much water when I squeezed it in there. Now, what does this have to do with hydration in our bodies? So we drink our water. Let's say we deeply hydrate in the morning, and then we sit at our desk all day. Our water is going through our digestive tract and out of us, but it is not getting pushed through the fascia of our body. There's another weird word, fascia, it's fascia, through the fascia of our body. So somehow this hydration in our body is not getting into all of our cells, and our cells need it for healing, okay? Your cells need hydration for healing to occur. So that's why movement is so critical. Now, any kind of movement is great, but I'll share with you that movement that gets the spinal fluid moving is really critical. Because I was sharing, and Brittany brought this up, which I thought was really good, and I want to make sure I get it right. But the fluid in our spine, which is a really important part of our healing, is flowing along our spine all the time. But if we're not physically moving, we're not getting that pump going. Think about priming the pump. So a great thing to do in the morning or at night before you go to bed to make sure that spinal fluid is moving is make figure eights with your nose. Okay, so try that now. It's not hard. You can lay in bed and literally make figure eights with your nose, getting that spinal fluid moving. Most of our healing and cleansing happens at night while we sleep. So why sleep is so restorative is you're literally detoxing while you sleep. But a key part of that detoxification is having enough fluid to carry out the processes needed so that you can have that restorative sleep. And so the question was brought up, well, what if I keep waking up at night and I'm thirsty? Well, your body is saying, I need these fluids to detoxify your organs. I need these fluids to kick in these restorative processes. And if you haven't given your body these fluids in a way that it can really deeply absorb them, it is going to be waking you up and asking for more. But I'm so curious and so like committed to the idea that I have in my head that if you make some of these changes, you won't be waking up in the middle of the night super thirsty. Okay. And 2 more points, and then we're going to finish up because we are going to finish on time. I promised a 20-minute video that is going to give you enough information to change your life, and that's what this is going to be. There is a supplement that helps with hydration, and it is Omega-Gize. Now, why is that? Well, people always talk about how, oh, take your omegas for your brain health, take your omegas for your brain health. Well, why is that? Well, omegas increase the surface area of your cells. So when we have an increased surface area of our cells, we have an increased ability to absorb hydration. And so if our brains have an increased surface area and our brains can absorb more hydration, well, what do we know? We know that a 2% increase in hydration is a 30% increase in cognitive function. I mean, it's incredible. So all of this research came out that, hey, kids need to get omegas. Like you got to have it so their brains can develop, so they can function at school, so they can learn and grow, and adults too, and moms who are, depleted. All of us need omegas, and that's why it literally increases your surface area of your cells so you can absorb more good stuff, okay? And the other point I want to share before we close tonight is electrolytes. Some people don't love the taste of water. There is a great electrolyte called Vitality Drops from Young Living. You can just add a squirt of this into your water. Now, super caution, if you're not going to use Young Living or some good quality essential oils in your water, I also love to put plus oils in, don't bother with electrolytes. They are known to be really full of crappy stuff. So just watch that you don't get the cheap stuff. You get fake colors, fake flavoring, synthetic chemicals that are not going to be good for your body, not going to be good for hydration that your body's going to need to try to cleanse it out, okay? And the last thing I want to close with tonight is what we love most in the Young Living community, which is deeply hydrating our lungs, okay? So when we breathe in our essential oils with intention, what happens is we start to breathe in deeper than we are when we just go through the day, and often our breath just naturally becomes shallower. So I'm going to invite you to take some oils in your hands and take some deep breaths in, and do that while I show you a little experiment. And the experiment is, when I was doing this live workshop with people on hydration, I took measurements around the rib cage, right below the bust. I took measurements around, and then I had them breathe in oils intentionally, which I invite you to do here, just really expanding your rib cage. And imagine that I've measured your rib cage, and now you're doing this breathing. Just try to expand the right side intentionally and the left side intentionally. And then I walk up to you again and I measure around your rib cage. And do you know what we saw with the people who came up and were willing to be measured? In every one of them, there was a 1 to 2 inch increase, a 1 to 2 inch increase around this. Do you know what that does for the surface area inside your lungs? Massive, massive increase, taking in more air, causing deep hydration into your body, exposing the tissues in your body to the healing powers of the oils. So when you've got your diffuser running, which I hope you're hydrating your home all the time, especially these days, when you're breathing in your oils, do it with this intention of creating deep internal hydration. Do with the intention of expanding your rib cage so you can get even greater amount of those oils touching the inside of your body. Okay, that's it for content, but I know that a bunch of you guys want to win a prize. So I have 3 prizes tonight because I'm so excited. One is a hydration for your lips. This is a Young Living lip gloss. So you guys know all day long we can rub lotion on our hands. We can put lip gloss on our lips. My other super hydrating one for the skin is this dry serum. It's from the US side. It is my absolute favorite for my face. Drink your Ningxia, take your omegas, and someone who comments here below is going to win those prizes, and I will pop them in the mail to you. And I want to invite you to tune in tomorrow night to some events that we have going on. So tomorrow night is Thursday, which means we are having a super fun class where Heather and Carrie are going to come on and share basic information about essential oils, go through their favorite oils and the kit. On Friday, we have a really special class on essential oils and Reiki with Laura, which is just totally unique, something we've never done before. And on Saturday, Vanessa is going to cover Young Living Savvy Makeup, which is super duper fun. And so we have 2 weeks of classes every night, just like this, 20 minutes classes, prizes, content that is easy enough to incorporate in your life that it will start to impact you, it will start to impact your family, and you will see it impact your community. And I just love that. I mean, I've been teaching these hydration classes just for the last couple of months, but what's amazing to me is I'm hearing back from people like, oh my gosh, this is really working. And it feels so good when you realize that sharing information is helping people, right? So if you want to get invited to those classes, we'll post all the links there. We'll also make sure we pull our prizes. And I will personally just love to hear what piece in this hydration class, has most resonated with you, or you feel like, hey, that's a shift I'm going to make. For me, the green smoothies in the morning, the sipping the water, and the chia seeds, and just the idea of Ningxia and plants as deep hydration, and not forcing myself to drink more water just to be cool, has really impacted my life, and that's why I'm excited to share it. So thank you for tuning in tonight, and I hope you guys all have a lovely evening.